the Russian royal family by Bolshevik firing squads in 1917, the rumor persisted that somehow the Princess Anastasia had escaped death, been smuggled out of Russia, and was living in Paris. The rumor was strengthened by the appearance of an inmate at a mental institution, a girl who, in her delirium, gave indications of being the lost Anastasia. Restored to her faculties, the girl now faces the Dowager Empress of Russia, the only surviving member of the royal family who would identify Anastasia. But the Empress has been hardened by her interviews with many young women who have pretended to be the lost princess in order to claim the royal fortune, and she has only reluctantly agreed to meet the lake's claimant. Seated rigidly on the sofa, the woman watches carefully as the girl enters and curtsies. Anastasia by Marcelle Maurette, adapted by Krikac. Yes, I can see why the others have believed. The likeness is good enough for a waxwork gallery. I have not cared whether they recognize me or not. But you? Don't you know me? You are the child, no doubt, of Emperor Nicholas II and Alexandra, his empress. And the grandchild of Maria Feodorovna. You have taken a long time in coming to comfort my bereavement. I wrote you letters, but you never answered. Perhaps you never got them. Ah, yes, I have received quite a few appeals from resurrected Romanovs. It seems the Bolshevik firing squads were very poor shots. Twice I started out to try to find you. And there were many days where I did not know who I was. But you do now. Tell me, how long have you been an actress? As in your own case, Your Majesty, from earliest childhood. Yes, to be a princess is to be an actress, but not necessarily a good one. Perhaps I would have learned to be a better one if the curtain hadn't fallen so early. You are being flippant about a subject which you must realize is for me a great personal sorrow. Forgive me, I forgot for a moment you would be regarding that tragedy as more yours than mine, Grandmama. Did I give you permission to call me that name? I'm sorry. It slipped out. I will try to guard my tongue. You think my answer should be to grant you that privilege? A lonely old woman should be glad to hear someone call her Grandmama. My loneliness has been as bitter as yours. You ask me for recognition, for love, and you do it well. Your eyes are moist, your voice is full of feeling. But I can only reply that the love you beg me for belongs to one who is dead. You have chosen to deck yourself in the robes of a spectre, mademoiselle, and in doing so, have managed to win endorsement from a few poor sentimentalists, dreamers, self-deceivers. But I am none of those things. The shell that was once my heart is not easily pierced. Yes, you are hard. You are showing a fighting face. I remember hearing Father say you were the toughest fighters the family had known since Peter the Great. That was at the time when my mother quarreled over a necklace, some emeralds, part of the imperial treasure, but you wanted to keep them for your lifetime. Who told you this? Oh, there were many who must have known about it. Rasputin at the beginning. Alex aired all her grievances to him. You wore it with your last court dress. The red velvet one with the long train. Where did you see my portrait? Or did someone describe me? It is strange. I can only remember the large outlines with the little details. It was the worst of our quarrels. The winter palace, my private rooms. The snow falling outside the double window panes. Alex had herself formally announced by one of the lackeys, Her Imperial Majesty. Thought she was going to arm me with a title that had been my own for many years. I was sitting by the fire, the jewel box on my knee, and after that pompous nonsense, I didn't even trouble to get up. I merely said, I do not know why I'm telling all this to you. My father took the side of my mother. They brought in the chancellor. They were all lined up against you, but you kept Figgy's jewels. How did you learn to call the great Catherine Figgy? He always called her that. sometimes we give the nickname to Marie because she had such an eye for the men. Olga used to tease her, stop, stop, I forbid it, I forbid you to banty those names. They are my sisters. I can speak of them if I choose. Imposter! You call me that? Yes, and I want it stopped. If you have any decency, I demand that you end this masquerade at once. I will pay you, give you more than these blackguards will. Oh, go away, leave me! Yes, yes, the tragic scene of despair, you are forgetting nothing. How can someone who has suffered so much have so little heart for suffering? I'm sorry, mademoiselle, if your failure to win me over is such a cruel disappointment. Goodbye. No, no, don't go. I will say nothing more to try to convince you. Then what do you want from me? Just a moment or two longer. Let me touch your dress. Put my hand for a moment in yours. Just a moment longer to close my eyes and pretend you're on the terrace of Lavadia with the smell of the sea as you echo laughter from the tennis courts where Father and Olga are playing. You've called me little one, Melenkaya. It was your own special name for me. You used it for no one else. I must go home, please. What is strange is that you have altered so little. You still seem the same to me as you did that day my finger was pinched in your carriage door. And you told me to try not to cry because I was the daughter of a Tsar. Let me go. It is still not quite straight, that finger. Or can't you tell the difference from the others? I do not know how you know these things. You are too clever for me. But I beg you, please stop. I'm an old woman. I have not the strength. I will come back. Yes, I will see you once again when my mind is clear. But now, no. No, perhaps you'd better not come again. You are kind now. You have softened towards me. But later you will get your balance. You will say, it's all acting. She's a cheap little actress hired for money. And it is true, Grandmama. They did hire me for money. I was starving after I ran away from the asylum. I had nowhere to go. I even went down the steps to the canal. Perhaps I should not have let him stop me. Goodbye, mademoiselle. Goodbye, dear Grandmama. I will try not to be so lonely or frightened. Where have I said those words before? Oh, it was on board the Standard. I had waked and found a great storm raging, the big waves breaking against the hull, and I cried out, Grandmama! And you came to my cabin. Melenkaya. 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 I could not believe it at first. You have come from so far away, and I have waited so long for you. No, don't cry. Just rest yourself and don't speak. You are warm. You are alive. That is enough. I can't stand no more for now. Can't you hear that weary heart of mine is beating? I must go, but don't be afraid. I will come back. I need you. Don't let go of my dress. This is what you used to do as a child. Be sensible, Melenkaya. I will go as I used to, speaking to you as I left the side of your little bed. We will go, tomorrow if you like, to my palace in Finland. It is still there and it is still mine. There is a very old man there, a lamplighter. Each night he goes from one room to the next, lighting the dead lamps until for him the great dark rooms are ablaze with light. The other servants take no notice. They realize he is childish, and perhaps it is true for all of us. We are lighting dead lamps to illuminate a grandeur that is gone. Goodbye.